What's up, everybody? Eric here with another EWE Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Secret Invasion Episode 2. Season 1, Episode 2. Before we get into that, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know what you thought in the comments down below. But yeah, let's get into this. But please remember, so this format is, we start off spoiler-free, and then I'll give you guys a warning when we start going into spoilers. I'm just going to be talking about specific parts of the episode. I'm not going to go everything from start to finish in this one. So yeah, we'll talk about some stuff afterwards. Alright, so let's get started with the name of the episode. It's called Promises. It was release date of June 28th, 2023. The cast includes Ben Mendelsohn, Olivia Colman, Emilia Clarke, Kingsley Ben-Adir, Samuel L. Jackson, and Don Cheadle's in this week's episode. He was also in last week's, but I didn't count him in there that week. So, runtime of 56 minutes. The basic plot of this episode is the fallout from what happened in episode 1, so dealing with the explosion in Moscow. Was it Moscow? It was somewhere in Russia. And dealing with Maria Hill's death as well. So what happens there? What's going to happen to Fury? What consequences will happen? And then is Fury going to find out about what's going on with the Skrulls that are on Earth? So yeah, let's first start now with my spoiler-free thoughts. I gotta be careful about that. I say start with, and I was like, I've already said a bunch of stuff. Ignore it. That's just me talking to myself. Alright guys, so let's talk about a few things in this episode. So, I thought episode 2 was done a better job of presenting Gravik to us. I'm feeling like, okay, they're going to show us that this is the big bad that we definitely have to be worried about, because he is kind of unhinged. He does not care. There seems to be some type of personal element. Like, I don't know this for a fact, but it feels like there is some personal element, something about him hating Nick Fury in particular, and it doesn't feel like it's just, oh, he lied to us. Something about it just feels like, no, you had a connection with Fury, but I don't have any proof yet. My one thought would be maybe he's like Fury's adopted son or something like that. I don't know. Just something about it feels like this is very personal, and more personal than it is all the rest of the Skrulls hating Fury. Something about it just feels like there's something else there. So we'll see. I think he might be like his adopted son or something like that. I was wondering if that was going to be this week's ending, like we find out that they were close to each other. I will say though, I still don't know how to feel about Nick Fury. I don't really care about this version of the character that much. Again, we haven't seen him in so long. And I'll admit, I don't like the beard look. I kind of miss the eye patch. I'm like, I kind of would rather see the way, if you've seen the trailer for the Marvels, I'm like, I'd rather him look like that than how he's looking now. Right now, it just looks like, oh, like your friend who's been drinking a lot and he needs like people to come in and have an intervention to get him out of his funk. That's kind of what Fury looks like in this episode. So I kind of want them to get out of that, get him back to like making us feel like he's the smartest guy playing the game, rather than like some old guy that came back later. It's like, oh, he's trying to play a game, but he has no idea what the game even is anymore. So they also have this character do something that I'm not going to say who, do some stuff where I'm like, yeah, this is someone I do not want to mess with. This person is crazy, and their threats are real, so don't mess with them. So that was really cool in this week's episode. I'm liking what they're setting up. The one thing I will say I'm a little bit concerned with is, like, this is only 6 episodes, and I'm like, are we going a bit, like, are we going fast, or are we going slow? I don't know where the finish line is for this, and I think that's probably been an issue I've had with a lot of the Disney shows, where I don't know what is the finish line, what is the grand ending. So if we talk about, what was it? Mandalorian, if you remember my reviews for that, I had no idea what was the plan for the season. It feels like you could feel like the bones are there in a lot of this stuff, but even in after episode 2, I don't feel that. And other shows I've been watching, like Star Trek, I feel like I kind of understand where we're going for the serialized ones, not the episodic ones. So I'm kind of curious where we're going with this. I'm still going to give it a shot. I'm still enjoying what I'm watching, so don't worry about that. One other thing is Talos kind of felt like he was sidelined this episode, and for him having such a big role last week, I'm just like, oh, you guys should have kept using him more. I'm curious what they're going to do with Gaia. It seems like, I don't know what they're going to do with her, but I mean, it kind of feels obvious that eventually she's going to turn on Gravik and go back with her dad. Even though right now she's kind of already done that, but like straight up gonna like tell to Gravik's face and stuff like that. Again, like, this is spoiler free. I don't know what's going to happen with that. That's something that maybe happens in the later episodes. I'm just guessing right now. And it was cool to see Rhodes again. Don Cheadle being in an episode is always great. He was in last week's, but didn't do as much this week. He had a little bit more, and I hope he's in the rest. Like, since we're not going to have Maria Hill, I'm hoping we at least get him for the rest of the season. I need a character to care about. Like I already said, I don't care about Nick Fury. I really don't care about Talos. I don't care about Gaia. I don't care about Gravik. And I'm just like, Sonya maybe is someone? But it's like, she's only been in like one scene per episode. So I'm like, who do they have that I'm like really caring about for this show? And I still haven't gotten that. So let's move. Remember, I'm still gonna have spoiler thoughts coming on. So this is just right now spoiler-free thoughts. I'm enjoying what I'm watching, so let's move on to my score. I'm giving this a 7 out of 10 for good. For the budget that they probably have and what they're doing, I do expect more from this, but I still think that, like I said in the first episode, the bones are there for something good. We'll just see how they do it with this espionage type stuff. I am hopeful. I will say right now, I am hopeful that they're going to get it together by the end. I'm just right now, I'm like, you guys are also competing against other things that Marvel's done, and so far it's like, good. But I'm like, what distinguishes you? And I still haven't gotten that yet. I would definitely recommend you go watch this. It's on Disney Plus. Just give it a whirl. Lengthwise, 56 minutes and 55 for the first episode. I'm like, well, Marvel's at least listening that we want longer episodes, so that's really cool. So I'm happy about that. All right, guys. So if you're not going to join us for the spoilers, this is where we come to an end with you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. For those of you that are staying with me, here's your warning that we're going into spoiler territory. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. I'm not sure if you guys heard the sirens behind me. All right, so before we start with the spoilers, we are in the spoiler section now. Before this episode, I was suspecting that Gravik maybe was Fury's son. Afterwards, you hear in the episode, oh no, his parents, and I was like, all right, adopted son. So that's kind of where I went to the adopted son part of it, because it feels like there must be some familiar connection right here, right? Just, there has to be a reason why Gravik hates him so much. The only other thing I can think of is that Fury killed Gravik's parents, maybe, but who knows? We'll see. So talking about like the big points of this episode, besides the whole Maria Hill's dead now, Talos tells Fury that the rest of the Skrulls that survived what happened to their planet have now come to Earth. Those that aren't imprisoned by, I don't know who it was, they are on Earth, and Fury is pissed. They're like, Talos is trying to say, well, what if we found a way to coexist together? He's like, humans don't even coexist with each other. What makes you think we're gonna be able to coexist with another species? And I'm just like, Fury's got a point there. Humans are not the best for doing that. We are not the most understanding race out there. So it's like, yeah, I kind of get where Fury's saying. It's like, I'm pretty sure Fury would have let them stay on Earth permanently if he knew he could trust the humans. But yeah, you can't really trust the humans. So in that aspect, I kind of get what's going on there. Moving on from there, we did see that Gravik kind of joined the rest of the Skrulls in what I'm calling like their Illuminati and stuff like that. And they do have this crazy moment where you can tell Gravik hates humans. I don't know why he hates the humans so much just yet. I feel like maybe we're coming up to that. He did talk about that, what doesn't like about humans, and this could be a good point, is the fact that humans attack each other. Like, he compared them to dogs, and like, dogs are like loyal. They don't attack each other. They don't try to kill each other. They don't imprison each other. And when he's talking about that, I'm like, oh yeah, I think he can mean like with the humans of like, they do pretty messed up stuff to each other. So maybe that's why Gravik hates them. Him who wishes he still had his planet, his people that they, because his people seem to like not hate each other. Though there is a little gray area on part going forward. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But yeah, I think Gravik is just trying to show his power, and he ends up convincing the council with the help of one other Skrull. I think she's supposed to be like the Prime Minister of the UK, to make him the general of the Skrulls. So he's in full power. It's not a democracy at the moment. It is, he gets to streamline the entire process. And I'm like, that's actually really cool they're doing that, because they're setting him up to be really big. So, like I said, there's got to be something with him and Fury at some point. I don't know what it's going to be, but it just feels like it's going to be there. All right, and then Rhodes ends up coming to London, and he meets with, like, I guess it's the United Nations? I don't know who they are. Like, it's a council. And he's clearly not there to even care about what they're saying. He even makes a joke that if the Russian keeps looking at him bad, he's gonna what's in Russia? It was one of those countries. He's gonna carpet bomb them with the suit. It was pretty funny. I enjoyed that. It didn't feel in place. Like it felt like, hey, what if they hear you? It felt like weird, but whatever. He then meets with Fury, and Fury ends up telling him that they've been invaded by Skrulls, and Rhodes is pissed off. Although you then find out why Rhodes was even here. He was there to fire Fury, because what happened in Russia was completely Fury's fault. He screwed up badly, did something completely under the books, not tell anyone, just did it. And yeah, that ended up being a big problem, and he got Maria killed. So yeah, they fire Fury. But at the same time, he even says like, oh, even when I'm out, I'm in. And I'm like, so you guys fired him. You guys do realize in, what was it? Winter Soldier, like, they technically thought he was dead and he was still part of it. He ended up finding out, like, Hydra ended up taking over. So it's weird where it's like, oh yeah, he's out, but he's still in. And it's like, yeah, I mean, he's already been in the situation before. I don't know why they're making such a big deal about it. It's like Hydra invaded SHIELD. So it's like, he's kind of in the same boat. It doesn't matter. He can't trust anyone. So yeah, for me, it was just like, I feel like they're ignoring the fact that they've already done something like this before. So yeah. Fury, of course, gets away. And then the character I told you that, like, scared the crap out of me, because I'm realizing she is not... Don't fuck with her. Sonya. I know I didn't talk much about her in the last episode. Here, she actually does get to do something crazy. There's these gangsters that are trying to interrogate a Skrull. Not sure if they know he's a Skrull. They probably do. And they're not getting anything out of him. Sonya just shows up, tells them all to leave, and she's just like, she knows she's gonna get the information out of him. She's like smiling at him, and she's being like all polite, but she's basically telling him like, you're gonna tell me what I want to know, or I'm gonna torture the crap out of you. And she's like, I'm not just gonna like beat you, I'm gonna do stuff to you that's even worse. She ends up giving him this drug that ends up like boiling his blood, and yeah, of course he caves. And Sonya knows what she was doing. She knew that the other Skrulls were gonna come to get him, so she even asked where the exit was to where the guy, the hidden exit is, and she ends up escaping, but she got a bunch of the information. And then you kind of see Gravik then, when they do get him, Gravik asks him, what did you tell him? And he says nothing, but right afterwards, like, they just leave, and they end up trying to go to the safe house, and the safe house is already, like, the cops are there. So, of course, Gravik knows who talked. It was the guy that was interrogated. And sure enough, they take him out to the woods, and they kill him. And it's just like, yeah. But it felt like it was more, a guy was actually with them when this happened. It was more, I felt like Gravik kind of knows Gaia might be thinking about defecting, and is kind of trying to give her, like, tell her, hey, you try to defect, I'll kill you. So I was just like, oh, okay. I felt like that was also a message to Gaia. And I really enjoyed that, because it's like, excuse me, to this moment, I don't know what she's even doing. Alright, so that's how that part of the, his Gravik stuff ends. Now we go into Nick Fury. He ends up going home. And I remember I kept talking about, like, oh, maybe it's the son. Already in my mind, I felt like, oh yeah, Nick Fury is probably with the Skrull. I'm not sure why. I was like, if he is married, there's like a really good chance she's a Skrull. And this is, I think, happened in both the first episode and the second episode, where in the first episode I kept feeling, I feel like they're going to kill Maria. Like, they're foreshadowing. I'm like, I'm hoping they don't. And then in the second episode, I kept having this feeling like, Fury's definitely, like, with a Skrull, right? And sure enough, you find out that his wife is a Skrull. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It kind of like made me feel like, well, maybe I was wrong about him being his actual son, but I feel like I still have my money on the adopted son thing. I'm like, maybe. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's how this week's episode ends. Again, they keep trying to get like these gasp endings, and I'm like, for me, they're not gasp endings. Kind of like, all right, cool, because I felt like they're already throwing us in that direction. All right, so yeah, guys, that's the end of this episode. I'm gonna try and have episode 3 out later this week. I'm not sure, by the point I recorded this, I still haven't even put up episode 1, so I'm hoping to get these out in a good order. But then after this week, we'll start having this review out on Thursdays. I'll still try to have the movie review and Star Trek will be alternating depending on what time I'm able to watch the movies Thursday night. So Star Trek could be Friday, it could be Saturday, the movie could be Friday, Star Trek could be Saturday. So we'll play along with it. I don't know how this is going to go, and also depends how busy I get, but I'm trying to get you guys more content again. Sorry for being low on content for a while. I think I'm going to start getting back to this in a normal thing. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the show. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, this is starting to become, I see what they're doing, but I don't see the end point yet, besides Gravik dying. And I'm like, that's not really that much fun to really think about. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.